Exquisite was the night we tasted together. Claws raking through your back, you made me sing and purr. Lingering is for those who wish for things to lose. I prefer my freedom, it's what I always choose. Pushing the door softly, we're officially through. Surely you won't allow my discourtesy to eclipse these memories. Sleep well, handsome. Adieu. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, my people, how y'all doing? I hope y'all doing good. I'm over here tired, and yeah, it's been a busy week. More than the week actually. Well, it's been a few busy months really, and past 2 weeks really, I've been running after deadlines and trying to do my work and do everything on time. If you've been with me for a little while, you know that I've been writing quite a bit these past few weeks. I think, yeah, 2 months at this point now. Yeah, about 2 months. And yeah, and it's great, but it's like it's like I'm making up for it, last time or something. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I'm kind of tired, and I'm gonna try to make this a short one, and really, cause the topic that I had in mind is something that I've been thinking about for yeah, quite a lot for the past few weeks, and it's turning in my head, and I don't know if I should maybe wait. It's about whiteness. Um, about whiteness, about the racism in France, about how white supremacy shows up in France, and which is really an example of, like, the best example of how white supremacy shows up in general. It's just that France has been expert at presenting the face of white supremacy that way. It's a little heavy maybe, and I can't pretend that I have answers. All I have are observations and sort of like a personal analysis. And I don't even know if analysis is the right term here, but I guess it is. I mean, it's thoughts coming from my head, so I suppose it's me analyzing things and the context and how things keep coming back, etc. So, yeah. But before we get into that, I have to tell you about the piece that I read in the very beginning. And it's a piece by an emerging artist who is, amazing, and that I absolutely look. No, let me not do this. It's a piece by myself, and it's what's the word for that again? An acrostic poem. Is that the word? I'm feeling too lazy to check right now. I'm under a cover and all that stuff to try and have some good sound, and I don't want to mess everything up. So, okay, let me check. So, yes, it is an acrostic poem, and it's based on the word eclipse because of the eclipse that's happening, I think, on the 8th of April. So, in 2 days for me. And yeah, so I am submitting that one, or I did submit actually that one to a contest. And I wanted to have a little fun. So I made it a little naughty. Not that naughty. It's not that bad. I didn't use any bad words and I didn't make it super descriptive, but I wanted it to be um, sensual, but also powerful, like coming from a powerful person or a person who does not give up their power. So, yeah, I had fun writing this and I had fun reading it. Now, hopefully I win. So, we'll see. And even though it's taking me a lot of time, and that's because I'm I'm deciding to put a lot of time in it, to be honest. And that's because I need it. That's because for far too long I have neglected that, and it needs to, you know, take its rightful place, and we'll see what I do with it. But right now, I want to have fun. I want to experiment. I want to, you know, really just express myself in different ways and discover the places I can go and learn new things along the way, because there's a lot of learning going on there. That's absolutely fascinating. See, I trust and I believe that at some point I'll be winning contests like back to back to back that are making money, contests with nice prizes. And even better, that people will actually come to me, or I'll go to them, but whatever, and pay me for my writing, okay? But right now, that's not really the case. And well, what I'm trying to say is, do you have money? Because you know it takes money to, you know the thing, you know. Um, but really, yeah, if you do have some money, I'll I'll take whatever you want to spare. That will be cool. I really really appreciate the support. And if you don't have money, that's okay. Don't feel guilty. Like, come on, it's just me here. It's fine. Um, you can share this though. You can like tweet it. You can send it to a friend. And if you hate it, send it to an enemy. Send it to somebody anyway. Um, that's support, or whatever, however you want to qualify that. If you hate it, but if you do like me, and if you do like what I have to say, that what I'm trying to say is thank you for your support. Yeah. Oh, the ways to do it. Come on now. Um, if you so yeah, like I said, the free stuff. Share, comment, boost with some with a 5-star review. And for the money, go to ftnpod.com. You'll see the button somewhere, donate or Patreon or something. If you go through Patreon, that's a commitment. It's every month, and it starts at $2 a month. Just $2, baby. You can also not, commit at all and give any amount by going to ftnpod.com and, hitting the donate button, and, go from there. Follow the instructions. Thank you. Thank you for your support. So I gave y'all the intro, I gave y'all some poetry, and I gave y'all, the updates. And now we are, now it's time to talk about the topic. So here's the thing that, like the general sentiment here, I really feel like France is just incapable of looking at its past in a way that tarnishes its image, for itself, like its own self-image. And I mean that's pretty easy to say, and that's pretty easy to understand, pretty easy to see also. But what does that look like? What it looks like is the ability to to, for example, talk about the horrors that are going on outside of France, that are committed by other states, that are, that have the exact same intentions and the same goals, but it's just not us, right? It's not France, so we can actually recognize the racism there. We can actually recognize the atrocities, and actually that goes beyond racism. So we can talk about Russia's crimes. We can talk about the Holocaust, right? Because that's over there. Even if it was here, like the camps were not here, and it's not France that was the bad guy. Even if France collaborated, right? Um, what we take from it is, it's those bad Germans, those bad Nazis. It's them over there. It's not us. So it's easier to look at the Holocaust and see victimhood, because it's not a crime of France. Like, that whole crime is not on the back of the French government. Like, the whole thing is not on the back of the French government. It's easier. So you can have like so many commemorations throughout the year, but it's complicated to even speak about slavery, to speak about the role. It's difficult to speak about the role that France played, um, or the way that France colonized, the way that France still subjugates. Like, we cannot talk about that, because we need to keep this idea of France as the country of human rights. Like, they love to talk about that, because they wrote some words on a piece of paper, and suddenly, like, France is the country of human rights. Um, it's ridiculous. And what that brings me to is this idea of whiteness that cannot see itself other than good. And that's this idea that's been in my mind for the past few weeks, where it's like, okay, it's like whiteness as a concept, not people who happen to be white, but whiteness, um, the political power that is whiteness, the political position, the um, the structural thing. I mean, that this foundation of imperial states, right? That whiteness, whiteness cannot, whiteness uses people who happen to be white, in order to prosper, in order to stay alive, and it actually counts on ignorant people who happen to be white, who just happen to be white, and it has a vested interest in keeping these people ignorant by not um, by not telling the whole story, by always keeping an image of them as being pure and being good and being here to help the world. Like, it's been over 100 years. I mean, at this point, that we have television, or recorded images. I think it's 100 years now. It was already the same discourse that I heard when I was a kid, and that we still hear today. The propaganda, the French propaganda is, we went over there to help people, to help build roads, etc., etc. And we don't talk about all the stuff that French people stole, all the horrors, all the crimes they committed, all the violence. Some of this stuff is resurfacing now, but only because individuals are like excavating this from archives. Only because some people are saying, "Hey, let me put this in the light of day," but no mainstream media is doing it. It's individuals, or it's either individuals or it's maybe some very intellectual TV station that's doing some type of piece that's coming out, like that's going to be aired on Sunday, like around 11 p.m. So like nobody's going to be watching it. Oh, and most likely it's going to be like this Franco-German Arte, TV station that's yeah, very intellectual, um very not mainstream. Very interesting though, but not mainstream because people are watching other stuff. And the other, like the we're helping the world, we are so good, we are so white. That stuff is absolutely on mainstream television, like all day, every day. It's nauseating at this point. But anyway, I don't want to go like all over the place. It's really just remarks. So it's not exactly structured, but these are really the points that I have in mind. It's first this inability to look at self, for friends, to look at self and see anything other than goodness. Yeah, I think that it's really the word. It's goodness, and it doesn't really have a definition. It's really it's this aura of we are great, we are so great, and it doesn't come out in a pretentious way. It's just, oh, of course, it's natural. We're so good, and it's not. That's not the way they'll say it. But if I can give you an example, what I did with the this idea of going to Africa and going to the Caribbean to help people who are in need, and that rhetoric that's been around for, I mean, like I said, 100 years of recorded, videos, but I don't know exactly how it was in like in written form. I think it was a little more honest during colonial times, um, because not everybody was actually had access or was actually reading that. So I think it tended to be a little more honest because the newspapers then, those I've seen anyway, were pretty clear with where they were going. And then later, when that rhetoric sort of, when the economy switched, and people like the French people are like, hey, we're suffering here. So why are we quote unquote helping these people over there? Because they really believe that, they were actually helping when really they were plundering. But anyway, the average person who's not really informed, who's not really educated, would say, hey, and still says today, hey, but why are we helping those people over there when we have people over here suffering? So give us some explanation. But the narrative does not change because it would mean admitting that it's been a lie. It's admitting that no, 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 we actually, you'd be suffering more if we did not go over there and plunder, right? That's really gets that's really what it would be if they had to be honest. They can do that. They can't do that. It's too much at stake in terms of the economy, and honestly, I don't even think that people would be that mad. It would be, oh, you're plundering to help us? Oh, keep plundering. Because really, I mean, I live here. I know. Maybe this is me being too. Actually, no, it's not me being too anything. Yes, some actually would say, yes, keep plundering if it helps us. We see what it looks like in the US, for example, and we do hear some people who actually know what's going on here in France, and who do say that. So yes, it would not be a problem. What I think is it's still this idea of keeping up appearances and still refusing to see oneself other than good. That's extremely strong for French people. And then the second point, if you tell people that they're good, they're just good, and they are part of something that is so good, everybody wants to believe that. People want to believe that they're good people. They're not monsters. They don't personally attack anyone, and they're not personally going into other people's houses and taking away everything they have. They're not attacking their wives and their children. They're not, they're not personally committing violent acts. So they do want to believe that they're good, that they're good people. Like all they really need is a little push, right? So if you have people who believe that they're good because they don't do atrocious things, and all you need for them to do is you need them to not move. You need them to stay exactly where they are so you can continue. They don't need to participate, they don't need to be heinous, they don't need to become violent, they don't need to be anything. All you need from them is that they don't move. So if you keep feeding them the same narrative about how good they are, how they don't need to change anything about their lives, you don't say it like that, you just set things up that way, then they help you. They help you by not doing anything. They help you by not challenging the awful things you're doing. And they help you by maintaining your power, by maintaining everything just the way it is. It's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. And every time I listen to the news and I hear that narrative of goodness, you know, the aesthetics of goodness, and then opposite that, like for example, like lately there have been some like attacks outside of schools. It there's it's made a lot of noise, and rightfully so, because that's really concerning. The normalization of violence, and especially it's kids, it's teenagers, like young kids. But when you listen to this narrative of goodness, this narrative of victimhood, when it's white people, this narrative of not just victimhood but innocence. Like whiteness is always cloaked in innocence. Like whiteness can only be good and innocent and pure. But when we talk about the moment we're talking about brown kids, black brown kids, like North African kids, and this is not me excusing the violence, because it's extremely concerning. Suddenly, like on TV, right, when we don't have the information yet about like why such and such kid has been attacked by other kids, we don't have any information, right? Nothing. But the commentator says, because they know that it's brown kids, so we don't know if it's about a conflict around love, young love, or if it's competing gangs fighting each other. It's like, how did your mind go to gangs? Like, what in that specific context made your mind, without any information from the police, without any type of investigation, how did your mind go straight to, it could be love, or it could be gangs. It could be like, it is so transparent, and it's not just the fact that like here they go to gangs. It's that, and when it comes to other kids, but always this narrative of goodness and purity and innocence when it comes to white kids. What was interesting, because they didn't have the identity or, the picture, the names, and it's still on the investigation, like ongoing. So they were just saying, okay, a person, a 20-year-old person, they're showing you the silhouette, like a drawing, and a 15-year-old young woman. um, I guess maybe you can say that when they're 15, but I don't know. To me, that's a kid. But the picture they show you is a grown ass woman, with heels, and it's just a drawing. Like they could choose any image, right? They decide what type of um of image they put out there. They actually have complete control over that. But they decide to put a grown woman with heels and the hand on the side or something, like, something a little weird and not really um something quite sexualized. I mean, when we're talking about a you know case of violence, it's weird and it's systematic, right? When we talk about victims, even when the victim is a little girl, for example, a little black girl, I've heard them on TV say, talking about a little black girl who was a victim of assault, talking about her as a young woman, a young woman, 11 years old. Like, come on now. Come on. But white people get to be kids um, until forever. Like, come on. That thing that France has with goodness, it keeps it for itself and for people who happen to be white. It's not innocent. It's not just a national, um, like a national myth. Just, it's not just like for all French people who, whatever they may be looking like, or whatever the backgrounds may be. It's specifically for white people. It's not for anybody else. And that you can find wherever white supremacy, wherever white supremacy resides. You can find that. You can find that in the U.S. so well. This idea of goodness and innocence around whiteness, but France specifically, it's part of the national discourse. It's like the French identity, and there's a very specific way, and I don't know if I'm describing it well, but there's a very specific way that France does that, and it's picked up in the media. It's nonstop. It's the politicians, and it's even the well-meaning politicians who don't realize that they're spreading this sort of this vision, this propagandized vision of what France is or pretends to be, which is what I would say. But yeah, I'm blabbering at this point, and it's longer than I wanted to make it. I don't know how I'm going to edit this, but I'm gonna have to edit it. We'll see. Um, yeah. Let me know your thoughts and let me know how white supremacy shows up for you, like in your national identity, your national discourse. How does it show up? And if like what I said here reminds you of what you already see, because maybe it's not really exclusive to French people, but it's something that I really see that's really deep, deep, deep. Um, like it's really in the fabric of the country. It's really in the DNA. It's the identity of France now. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. And um well, thank you for sticking with me. And yeah, share the podcast. Give me a 5-star review and all of that good stuff. And I love to hear from you. So send me some messages as long as they're not some nasty messages, you know. Yeah. Um, I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.